All right, guys, I'm learning a lot of things. Let's hit this button and get this show started.
Welcome. You're tuned into Life is a Sacred Journey. Every week, we bring a new perspective to aging and caregiving. Here is your host, Micheal Pope.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you in the virtual neighborhood of Life is a Sacred Journey. I am Micheal Pope, your host, and I am tickled to death this morning. We're using a new platform for our podcast so that it can go out to further other places that it can't go right now. And I want to thank Felicia and Leon for standing and sitting and helping me find things. And I want to thank all of you. You were a part of my pre-show stuff. I have to do more now. So, this 64-year-old brain, every once in a while, it's like, push this, do that. Don't do that to me. I get nervous. I get scared. So thank you, Felicia, for being patient, teaching me all new things. And thank you, Leon, for walking beside me during this change. So good morning. I am excited. And first of all, I'm going to tell you why I'm excited. Juneteenth, is a federal holiday. All right, but it's only a beginning. We still need to talk to our politicians and our legislators and our community leaders. There's a couple of more bills out there that need attention. One of them is the lynching bill. The other is the George Floyd bill, and it's about violence within the police department and education training and all of that. And then the third is, I'll have to look it up. I'll remember possibly before we sign off this morning. But go and see. I've been talking about the difference between an actor, an ally, and an accomplice. An actor is somebody who knows the world needs to change and does nothing about it, just sits back and waits for it to take its natural order. An ally is somebody who in their heart knows that the world needs to change, tells people that, but then needs to take it a bit further and become an accomplice. An accomplice means that you will fight for those laws that benefit all people and that you will talk to your family. You will change the conversation when it becomes bigoted, even though, oh, Uncle Bob, that's the way he's always been. You stop him. So let's move to the accomplice area of civil rights and social justice and racial justice and people justice so that we can ensure that everything that I consider a luxury is available to other people. Everybody should have access to everything that we have access to. And no, not without hard work, absolutely not. But at the end of the day, how hard do some people have to work to have the benefits that other people get just because they show up? So let's remember that is still happening in our world today, and we have an opportunity to make a change. I'm so thankful again, always to be with you here on Life is a Sacred Journey. Please hit the share button, tell people that we're here, and let's make this a global community. Well, it already is a global community, but let's make it universal. I don't know. Do you know somebody in Saturn or Mars or Pluto? I don't know. Maybe you do. Send a message out and let them know that Life is a Sacred Journey is in your house right now. Get your coffee, get your water, get your juice, turn on the air conditioning, I don't know, a fan, pull your shades down so that the sun isn't coming into your house and heating up your home. In the Bay Area here, we're expecting temperatures of 104, 105. When I got home yesterday, it was 104 in my house. So my poor dogs were like so happy to see me, even though I had left the air on for them. It still was hot. So let's be cool. I know that it's hard, cooling centers, there's rules around masking and all of that. But if you have a place where you can become a cooling center for people, please reach out to those in our community that need to be in a cool place so that they're safe. All right. That's one of my ponderings. My other is I have read this book over the weekend. Do What Matters Most. You know that Steve Schallenberger was my guest last week on Life is a Sacred Journey, and I have read this now from cover to cover, and now I'm going to go back and read it with a pencil and start really doing some of the activities. But I want to tell you something. Yesterday, I had a meeting, and we were talking about this number one thing: lead with vision. I've been thinking a lot about leading with vision and what that means to us as a society and what that means to us as a collective. We have to have a vision and a purpose of something bigger for the humanity. So when we're saying lead with vision in this context, we're talking about the individual. Steve was talking about the individual and they looking at their own lives and looking to see what their vision and purpose is in life. But the reality is we all have to lead with the vision of racial justice, social justice. And what would that look like in the context of us all feeling that that was a vision that we were working towards? What would the world look like? How would we step out into the world every day and greet each other if we all thought that there was justice for all, or that we were treating people with justice for all? What would that look like? And that's a vision. And so I vision that. I know what that looks like in my mind. In my mind, that looks like my neighbor who lives across the street, who I wave to and have been waving to. I think I've been living there like 9 years. I've been saying good morning to him. It happened again this morning. I've been waving to him and he never says a word. He never responds. He doesn't even pick his little hand up and wave at me. I will tell you, he is not Black. He's also not white. And I don't know what the issue is. And today, if I had had enough time, the universe said to me, go over, cross the street, Micheal, and say good morning to him, so that he knows that it is a deliberate, intentional greeting to him. So tomorrow morning, because he's up every morning because he does it with a hose. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna say good morning to him. And I'm gonna thank him for the beautiful front yard that he has, that he works so hard on, because I'm not gonna let go of this. He deserves, and I deserve, a good morning. And I haven't done anything, nor has he. But there's something that is inside of him, or maybe nothing. Maybe the man is blind. I just thought of that. Instead of me getting angry with him, for all I know, he is blind and he doesn't see me waving at him. And when he hears me saying good morning, maybe he doesn't know that I'm talking to him. So that's what happens when you grow to a place where you don't always go to judgment. I've been thinking, I went to judgment for a minute, but just in this conversation with you this morning, I realized, what if the man is blind, Micheal? You can't be mad at a blind person that you're waving at. They can't see you. So we have to be careful. You know, I just corrected my own self. We have to be careful when we think that somebody is trying to inflict a harm upon us, until we really know their story, till we really know and connect with them to find out what's going on. And maybe he's not blind. And maybe he doesn't like me for whatever reason. But whatever it is, we're going to crash that barrier before the end of this year. That's the goal. That's what I have visioned in that relationship. Before the end of this year, I will crash that barrier so that he and I can be neighbors, truly neighbors in our community. I said something yesterday to a colleague that came to visit. And we talked about neighborhoods, and we were talking about how we grew up. And I said to him, isn't it interesting that I grew up in a neighborhood where I knew everybody from 2 blocks over, 2 blocks down, and 2 blocks up. I knew everybody. That was my playing field. That was my place where I learned how to be. And so did my parents know all those people. I'm not telling you we were friends and we went to their house for dinner. The people close to us, we did. We grew up around them and we were all a village together. But we knew our neighbors. Now you go to an online thing called Neighborhood to chat with your neighbors. And I'm okay with that, I guess. I'm a part of that, but I don't even look at that, because we're getting further and further away from having discussions with each other. So in the neighborhood online, We still can be mean. We can still, I read one from a friend of mine. She lives in Oakland, and in her neighborhood, the people were correcting her when she was talking about Juneteenth. And the reality is that, we need to celebrate the lives of all people in America, because all people in America have made America great, not just one set of people. And she wrote that. So somebody in the neighborhood took offense to that on the online, the neighborhood, and just went in on her like they knew her. Like I would go in on her, and I've known her over 30 something years, and we have that relationship. But this was an anonymous attack in the neighborhood. I'm sure Mr. Rogers wouldn't like that neighborhood. We need to be careful, folks, because we're being set up to be angry at each other for no viable reason. What she said was not offensive. Yeah, you can disagree with her, absolutely. But to attack her and ask her questions about herself that truly are nobody's business, and at the end of the day, what did it have to do with her comment? We have to learn how to have conversation that doesn't always go into political debate about every doggone thing. Every doggone thing we want to debate, we want to fight, we want to make sure that your point is the point, and by God, that's it. There's no other opportunity for anybody else to have a point or to even change your mind. That's weird, right? I mean, to me, it's weird because people say things to me all the time. And sometimes I get this little visceral reaction to it. I'm like, inside. But then I think about it, and sometimes people plant some really good pearls on me, and it makes it better. It makes it better. But you can't get mad at everything that everybody says to you, because you know what? You're going to be mad all the time. And then if you're constantly defending yourself, you're just going to age, and you're going to be unhappy, and you're not going to have joy and all of that. I am not in the stage of my life that I am going to defend anything. If I say something that's offensive to somebody that I love or not love, and they point it out to me, I am going to apologize because it's the right thing to do. But at the end of the day, I am not going to be in a fight debate about, is an Acura really a Honda? Is a Honda really an Acura? Guess what? Yes and yes. Both are correct. So what difference does it make? And it makes no difference to Micheal Pope, because a car for me is just like a telephone. It's a tool. I don't care about its design. As long as it doesn't break down. And I have to go to the mechanic. I keep it clean. I do all the mechanic-y stuff, but I could care less about whether it's a this or a that or a dippity or a rappity. I could care less. So for some people, that's great. That's their thing. They want to tell me, no, an Acura is not a Honda. But I looked it up, and they're made in the same and by the same hands in the same warehouse, owned by the same shareholders. So they're really literally the same car, except for they add a few bells and whistles to the Acura so they can add $15,000 more to the price tag. So understand the marketing around all this stuff and how it puts us in a space that we think we have more than what we really have. Really, what I have is a car. I thought about that last night. And when it breaks down, it's an expensive car. And the more expensive the car is, the more expensive the breakdown. And again, I'm not mad, because my favorite car in the whole wide world is a Jag. And if I could get me a vintage Jag, if I could afford it and get it, I would get it. Okay, so I'm not putting people down that love cars, because the Jag has always been, not the new Jag, the old Jag. That's my car. All right. But at the end of the day, it has no more value to me than this cup of coffee after it's gone. Because people have more value to me. Humanity has more value to me. And I don't want to get caught up in the things of life. The things of life are great. I just got an incredible new table in my house. I'm coveting that table at this moment, trying to figure out where it goes in the house. But at the end of the day, it's a table. And you know what? The kids are probably going to throw it away and put it in a landfill somewhere when I die. So I'm going to enjoy the heck out of that table today, because it will not have the same value once I'm gone. My children will not care about it because it's not their style. It's a whimsical, you know me, it's a Alice in Wonderland table, okay? Micheal'S, by the way, is the designer. I love Micheal'S. Anybody who knows, I did interior decorating for many years. And so I love furniture. I love furniture, but well-made furniture. But at the end of the day, it is just a table. And someday it will have no value to anybody when I'm gone. Maybe I'll give it away before I'm gone. That's one of my pondering I want to share with you. I made the decision, unless I have a sudden death. If I have a sudden death, then it's out of my hands. But when I know that I'm moving to the end of life, I'm going to give the stuff away to all the people that I want to give my stuff away to. So when I die, my kids will just have junk, my bills and my boxes of paper to get rid of. Unfortunately, I'm going to hold on to those for a while. But I'm going to give away my stuff. I watched a wonderful movie once, and I don't even know what the name of it. I'm going to have to find it. It was Dukakis, whatever. I can't remember her first name. But she was in the movie. Anybody that knows the movie, please put it in the chat so you can go watch it. And she was dying. She knew she was dying. She had a malignant tumor somewhere. And she went through her house and put little tags and taped it to the bottom of everything. What it was, in case people didn't know. Oh, by the way, this is Waterford Crystal. This cup isn't, but you know what I mean. And then she would write the name of the person she wanted to have it, so that when she died, which she knew was inevitable, it was coming quicker. She knew her death date, that her stuff would go to who she wanted to go to, and people who had admired it when they had come to her home. Her children thought it was the most morbid thing she could have done, but at the end of the day, it gave her a sense of joy to know exactly where her things were going. I've cleaned out many homes of people who have passed away because I've been the executor of their estate, or just a good friend helping the loved one left behind to clean out the home. And there's been a lot of like, what do we do with this? Oh, this meant a lot to so-and-so. I can't throw it away, but I really don't like it. So, end of life should not be something that we're afraid of, my friends, because it is inevitable. We're going to end, and it's not the end of life. It's the end of this. It's the end of this, what you see before you. We go on, that's a whole nother conversation, but we go on. We go on in the lives of the people that we've touched. We go on in things that we have written. We go on in the hearts of the people that we've connected with throughout our lives. We go on. And so to think that just because you're physically not in the picture anymore, the impact of your life has no meaning. No, that's not true. Everything we do impacts the world, regardless of whether we're physically here or not. And so if we lived our lives that way, I've been living my life that way probably for 2 decades now, then we touch everything with the understanding that you're leaving an impression behind. And what do you want that impression to be? What do you want people to say? I want people to laugh when they think about me. Laugh with so much love in their heart for me about the time that I did Spreaker for the first time, and people are going to hear me trying to set this up, and you who saw me setting it up and saying, Leon, do I push this button or that button? I want you to remember that. I want you to remember the time that I wore a black shoe and a blue shoe to work. Oh, how wonderful. What a wonderful day. Good thing they were the same style shoe, but they were two different colors. I want you to remember the day that I wear contacts and the contact popped out of my eye, and I was driving with one contact and praying that was the eye with the stigmatism, right? It wasn't that eye. Laugh. I want people to laugh, but I also want people to remember the impact of my life and what I gave them. Did I love them? Did they feel that I was trying, even when I didn't understand, like my LGBTQI community friends and partners, when I don't understand the verbiage or the terminologies or how they are describing something, that they met me with patience and love and taught me something new. I want them to remember that. I want the young people that I hang out with to not think that I have thought of them as just young people who don't know anything, but I've respected them enough that they know that I've learned from them and that I walk with them. I want my people, meaning Black people, to know that I fought for them for my entire life, for them to have a better way of being. I want the humanity to know that I cared about the human race and that it mattered that they had food and shelter and education. I want the animals to know that I care that this planet is their house, their living room, and that we need to do a better job of protecting it for them and therefore for us. That's what I want to leave. That's the impression. That's the footprint that I want to leave in the world. What's your footprint? What do you want to leave? What do you want people to think about you when they think about you with love when you're no longer physically on this plane? What is the footprint that you're leaving behind in your neighborhood, on Facebook, on all these different platforms that we're now using? I use them. They're a part of my work now that I've decided to be a podcast host. So I use all of that. But I'll never, ever forget how great it feels to be in a room with Sandy Blazer, Stuart Furman, Carolyn Brent, Sister T, Betty, all of you that come here every single. I will never not want to be with you because of all of this. This will continue forever. You know, as long as I'm alive, we're going to keep doing this because there's a need and the need is being filled, and I think it's a good thing. But at the end of the day, the relationships that I have with each and every one of you is way more important. And then the other day, I had a conversation with a really good friend of mine, and she said something to me that I've been pondering ever since she said it to me. And I'm going to call her this evening so we can talk about it in detail. She said this to me many, many times, and I need to figure out where it's coming from. But she told me to be careful. She said, Micheal, you need to be careful because you're on this platform and there are people out there that will hate you just because you're on this platform and they don't want love in the world. And you need to be careful. I don't want anything to happen to you. And I've been pondering that. I've been thinking about that. And I was like, wow. She's worried about somebody hurting me in some way when all I'm speaking is love. So I started thinking about that. Then I started thinking about the history of how we treat people who ask us just to love. And I had a panic attack around that, to the point that I almost said to Felicia, we need to stop doing this because I have family and I have people that I love. And when you attack me, you in some ways attack them because they come to the defense. But then my cousin Brian, we have family meetings every Sunday at 1:30, by the way. My family from all over the world, we come together in love, the Pope side of the family. And he was online first and I came online second. And he said to me, cuz, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for the messaging that you're putting out there. So she said this to me on Friday, and my cousin Brian said that to me on Sunday. So the fear that I had is gone. I'm no longer afraid of whatever. I will protect myself and my family from anybody who wants to hurt me in any way, shape, or form. But I do know that I am surrounded by a village of love. I am surrounded by people who care about me and know me for the true that I am. And more importantly, I'm surrounded by a more powerful force that will protect me from evil and protect me from anyone who thinks they can come at me in a vengeful and hateful way. But those were my ponderings this week. That's what I've been pondering. And lastly, Stuart Furman sent me an email, really great idea, and we're gonna have her on the show. I found somebody who can talk to us about scams. And I'm gonna tell you about something that happened right here at ASAP. Good news, we didn't bite the bullet. We're getting ready to work with another bank, a community bank. We decided that we wanted to take some of our money out of a mainstream banking and put it into a community bank so that it was in the community, a bank that invests in the community. And so we're going to be doing that. Somehow, some way, somebody figured that out. It's not through our emails because we have firewalls, but I don't even know. But this company or people sent me an email with the same logo of the bank that I was working with to open up our new account, okay? But again, this goes back to personal relationship. The person that I set up the conversation with the bank, I know the person. I met the person, and I thought she wouldn't have passed me on to this other person, but I had a meeting with that person anyway online because I wanted to catch them and I wanted to find out how far they were willing to go. So I met with them online on Wednesday and they started pushing. This is when I knew. Listen to what happened. They started saying, how much money is ASAP going to put in our bank? How many deposits are you going to make? How many wires are you going to make? I mean, and again, these are all legitimate questions because the person at the bank asked me those questions too, but they were trying to get me to answer them right then and there. She was asking them for me to start to think about it and then to put it in a form that they're going to send to me. Then she says to me, what's your social security number? I thought, wait a minute. Panky, why are you asking me for my social security number? And I haven't sent you any forms. I haven't sent you anything. Then she says, I'm going to send you the signature card and you can sign it and then scan it back to me. She must be crazy. If she thinks Micheal Pope is going to sign her name to anything and scan it to somebody who I do not know so that she has my signature. So listen, she asked me for my social security number. Never once did she ask for the EIN number for ASAP. I'm not opening anything for me personally. I'm opening it for ASAP. And while in fact my social security number is tied to ASAP, So then I began to realize something's not right here. So I emailed the person that I'm in contact with, and I said to her, this person called and set up the call. Do you want me to work with them? She says, that person doesn't work here at the bank. Back office, front office, nothing. But the logo on the document that the person sent me was almost identical to the logo that was on the application of the real bank. So be very, very careful when people are asking you to fill out forms, asking you your personal information. Do not give it to them online, in a phone call, unless you know that that person is somebody who you know that is connected to that company. And I'm even going to take it further, that you physically have seen and had a conversation with. Because you can do that on Zoom too. And you initiate it, saying, I want to contact you. Because it was interesting. I wanted to make the Zoom for that meeting and send to that woman who thought she was scamming my organization. But she was adamant that she would send me, and then she sent it to me in a platform, a different platform than Zoom. And I had a really difficult time getting in. And then the whole background in her office was fuzzed out, so you couldn't see her office or what was going on behind her. Scams are happening and people are desperate now. Gift card scamming. This is a big one where they will say you'll get a letter, it's certified. One of our employees here got one of those. It's certified. Then they say, here's a check. We need you to go. This is like Whole Foods, and we're doing a survey on how easy it is to access and purchase gift cards. Go buy 5 Nike gift cards, whatever. You go do that. They ask you to take a picture of the PIN number and the number of the card. And then they can go and buy $500 worth of Nike stuff, but the check they wrote you is no good because the check is a copy of a real check with a real routing number, but they've embellished it with these copiers now. I'm telling you, these copiers, these online platforms, people can copy stuff in a way that makes it look legit. There's a new scam out about the California ID. What is that thing called? The new ID? Apparently there's a scam around that now. So we're going to have somebody come on and talk about scams, but be very, very careful. Don't do anything. Don't buy anything if it's not on a secure platform, maybe using PayPal. I even question PayPal from time to time. I'm not buying as much online. I love buying stuff online because I don't have time sometimes to go into the store and purchase what I need. But be careful. Make sure you erase it from your phone, from your desktop, from your laptop, from your tablet. Don't keep all your windows open. Clear your history so that somebody can't tap in there and figure out what's going on. I found out how they do it. They're in these rooms, I'm gonna call them sweatshops, because these people that are doing this, the ones that are doing it, like sitting in the room and getting paid to do it, they're just as oppressed as anybody because they're not getting paid the big dollars to do it. It's the people who set that up that are getting the big dollars and benefiting from these fraudulent acts at the end of the day. But the people who get caught and get put in jail are the people that are on the phone lines and doing all that. So we need to get to those people that are abusing other people and using them so that they can get away, just like drug dealers who use children to sell drugs because they know they'll just go to juvie and then they're free to continue selling drugs. We got to stop letting the oppressor oppress the oppressed in those situations. But at the end of the day, don't do anything with it. Don't do anything with any of those things. Get rid of them off of your laptops. Get rid of them off of everything. Clear the histories, because what I've been told, if you open that email, then what you do is you open the back portal to wherever those people are, and their computers start clicking away to try to pick up anything that you put on your email or near and it's a very short period. You trash that email, the link gets severed. But at the end of the day, until you do, they have an opportunity to access all your crap, your what do you call it, pens, all of that. So get rid of it and sign out of stuff. So if you go online and do your banking, don't just let it, what do they say, time out, and then you sign out of your banking and make sure that you're no longer in your banking, online banking. Banks are pretty good, but at the end of the day, all the banks have been hit, online sabotage. Target got hit, online sabotage. All this was online sabotage. And it's hard to get your money back. I was hit with an online thingy where I purchased something and the next thing I knew, somebody was going into my account trying to take multiple money. My bank caught it because they did. But I'm telling you, $2,500 before they caught it, because they did it so fast. I had to close a 30-year history with Golden One Credit Union to open a new account, get rid of all my online paying. I couldn't even remember everything that was in the online paying. I mean, this took me a month to clean up because somebody, tapped into my account. Now I have it so tight that if I want to go and buy something for more than $500, I got to go in, do something online to make on my phone or call them and say, I'm going to go spend this amount of money. And I'm being inconvenienced, not the person that went into my account, me. I'm being inconvenienced to get my own money, So in an emergency, it better not cost me more than $500 because on the weekend, if it happens on a Sunday, I'm going to have to be calling all of you to bail me out because the bank is not open and there's nobody to talk to. So again, when somebody does something in the world that is an abomination against humanity, against another human being, it affects that person, not just at the moment of impact, but the ripple effect is long. I mean, I'm still very nervous about it. I will not pay anybody new online. I'm not wiring any money. I'm nervous about doing all that. Anything that I have to put routing numbers, bank account numbers, social security, I'm not doing it because I don't have a whole lot. And the impact of that is could be detrimental to me financially. So those are the things that I pondered in this last week. We're going to, as I said, get an expert to come on and to really talk to us in more detail about scams. If any of you know about a scam that is going on, please write it in the chat and share it with our virtual neighborhood so they will know how to, what scams are going around, any new scams that you've heard about. I get hit a lot with the romance scam. I don't know why. I get hit with the romance scam. A lot of people all these men send me these befriend me thingies, right? But I can tell it's a scam because, because the person has no history. And then they'll have a picture and you can tell it's like, oh, wait a minute. That picture doesn't even look right. It looks like the person dumped themselves in there. It was photoshopped or something. But I get hit all the time with the romance scams. First of all, I'm single by choice. So if this is going out, I'm single by choice. I like my life. So all you male scam people out there, keep it moving. Because I'm really not in the market, all right? I'm not in the market. I really actually love being single and probably will be single until the day I die. So leave me alone. And frankly, I would not begin a relationship with anybody online. So that's the other thing, so be careful with romance scams. It's, again, not putting that down. I have a very good friend. She met her husband online. They've been married for like 20 something years. And at the end of the day, it works. But be careful because there are people out there using it, again, to their benefit. So happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. I hope that all of us will take time to make it a Afro-American, African-American, Native American day where you learn something about the Black culture, about the indigenous culture, because I share my Juneteenth celebration with all of my indigenous brothers and sisters throughout this continent and the world, because I know your struggle is still not over. I know that your struggle goes unseen and unspoken about, but I want you to know you have an accomplice in me. There's a tiny, tiny quarter, little bit of indigenous blood in me, but that's not the reason why. It is because you matter. You matter. And because you were here in this United States before anybody else, we need to honor you as much as we honor every other culture that came after. And so happy Juneteenth, everybody. Be safe this weekend. Do something that makes you feel like you are God's gift to this world. Do something that is about your vision for yourself and for your life and for your family and for this world. Do something that makes you tickled to the right here in your belly where you start laughing and you cannot stop. Do something to take care of yourself, but while taking care of yourself impacts the life of someone else in a positive way. Have a wonderful weekend. Celebrate Juneteenth, please. It is a holiday now. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all of the accomplices who have fought hard for this. And I want to thank our president and Barbara Lee, because she is the advocate for this and all things that to make, things equal. We're just trying to make things equal for those of us that are afraid still of Black Lives Matter. So, blessings to you all. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. Hug a tree, pet a dog, smile at your neighbor, go over and say good morning so that they know that you're intentional about changing the world. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. Peace out.